So this is the first match. We're still playing best of three, and I think it's right to penalties.
Yes. So from what we saw yesterday, we can see Barcelona versus Barcelona to start us off with. So you can see that there's kind of a little bit of balance between those two teams. And again, we spoke about this kind of over the last 2 or 3 days, or the 2 or 3 days of broadcast, is that it kind of gives you more of an idea of it's going to be down to the players behind the sticks. Yes, and who can utilise that team better.
Yes, that's true.
And I think looking at the way that these two teams will set up, I can imagine there'll be a very similar play style between the two. I'll be interested to see whether UAE come out as kind of all guns blazing, or do they kind of take a moment to try and take a breath in as we see the lineups flashing up on your screen.
And also remember that I was speaking with some of the players. They say that they miss some substitution. Sometimes there are tournaments where you have 5 substitution brackets, and I think here they're playing with 3.
Yeah, well, in terms of even your own play, when you're playing the game, you're so zoned in and focused that sometimes you even forget, I've got additional substitutions, or I've got subs that I need to use. So in some games where we've seen absolutely no substitutions, it may just be a case that they have completely forgot. As you can see, a very tight 4-3-3 on your left-hand side of your screen and the 3-5-2 on your right. And if I cast my memory back, I remember it was Jose that was playing 3-5-2 against Thailand. So I would imagine that it will be the UAE from left to right, and it will be Spain from right to left. We'll see if I'm proved right with that little prediction.
But before,
of course, we've got to make sure I control the settings. We've got to make sure everything's okay. We've got to make sure that everything is as pinpoint as spot on, because as you said, with a prize pool on offer, with all of these things that you need to make sure all of the settings are correct. You need to make sure everything is absolutely where it needs to be.
Especially when we have players of this caliber,
Absolutely, indeed. As we see, it is the UAE from left to right in the white, and it is Spain from right to left in the traditional red and blue of Barcelona. So here is Dembele forward to Pedri.
So let's see who can impose his game first. And also, in this game, we will see which is the reality of the UAE. Is it the 15 goals per match, or is it another thing? Well, we'll know for now.
We'll certainly find out here as ball is won back by the UAE, but again, it's quickly dispossessed by Spain. Is Ousmane Dembele to make a bit of a gap down the right-hand side. He turns and double touches, and
is it a corner or a penalty?
Well, we'll fight to find out. It looked to be right on the edge, or it may have been called back for the advantage. No, it is. It's right on the edge of the box, so very, very close indeed.
Very dangerous.
Spain have a very good position here in prime real estate. Whether they can make it count or not is a totally different thing entirely, but there's players that can make it count. It'll be Spain. Head at ball goes into the box, and it's...
I was talking with a player I will not name, and when he was telling me about the substitution, I said, you know what? I know that this team needs 5 substitution, because with 3 is not enough. They lost a lot of stamina, and I said, but you can change the team.
Quickly, goal in. Oh, it's in. Pedri with the assist, and Memphis Depay will sweep it away, and that is first goal to Spain.
So I said, you can change teams, and he said, yeah, but I train with this team.
Yeah,
I cannot use another one, because I don't know if I won't be able to train this team in one day.
Yeah, absolutely. It takes a lot more to master a team's gameplay and DNA, as we see here that Spain have taken the lead, and they're looking to assert control early. And if you talk about masters, and if you talk about players that know the game and players who know how to win matches, there's none better at the moment in the world of eFootball or in eFootball esports than it would be Jose. Just came up very unluckily short in a penalty kick situation against Saudi Arabia yesterday, but finds himself here today, but finds himself a goal up, which is good news if you're a fan of Spain.
Yes, of course, and with a good game. I think it's not by chance that this match is 1-0 in favor of Spain. If you are just tuning in, we are Weza from the UK, Fierita Catalana from Argentina, here at the International Esports Federation Championship. We are looking for the last finalists for this eFootball competition. This is the loser bracket, but these guys ain't losers at all. They
Not
are
indeed.
great players.
Not indeed. As I said yesterday, it is a bit of a shark tank. Here's Dembele. Tries to double touch around the goal, the defender. Its ball is poorly given away there, and Depay makes the shot, and keeper makes the save. And again, those are the types of errors you can't really afford at this stage of the competition.
So this is Jose from Spain. We are at game 1. We're playing best of 3.
Ball is looking to be tricked into the box. It's Lewandowski's just over the bar.
He could get the header, he connect, but it was a little bit too high, and that's why this match is 1 for Spain, 0 for the UAE.
Yeah, it was a good opportunity from the corner there, and again, Spain will be disappointed they didn't put that one away. Here's Dembele looking down the wing here. Nice little dummies and super cancels just to, again, create that gap, create that energy. But again, good piece of play there by Pedri just to lure PK in for the foul. As Memphis Depay stood over the free kick. What can he bring to the party here? And a little bit of trickery. Header into the box. Great save.
Good header.
Ball is not cleared though. Memphis Depay falls to Frankie de Jong. De Jong, good save from the goalkeeper. It is all Spain at the moment. UAE need to find something here.
So I think we're starting to see the level between these two. It seems favorable to Jose. UAE resists based on his goalkeeper abilities.
Ball into the box, headed just across goal. Any touch there, and it would have took it into the back of the net. But the UAE survive again for another time. But again, if you are a fan of the UAE, if you are supporting the UAE, it's only 1 goal. You only, as we've seen
yes,
over the course of a couple of days.
It's a lot more of 1 goal.
Oh, of course. And again, against a player of Spain's calibre, against Spain's play style, it's going to be difficult to fashion any opportunities. But the opportunities you're going to need to take on, you're going to need to
keeps
put
attacking.
away.
He knows that 1 goal is a very small difference. He keeps attacking. He's looking for the second one. Will it come? Well, you will see it, my friends. Here we are with Weza in Bali, wonderful Indonesia International Esports Federation tournament. More than 100 countries competing against each others. And here's Pedri. He does the roulette. Kevin de Jong.
It's given away. Here's Lewandowski on the charge. Ferran Torres is trying to make some inroads for the UAE, but
it's difficult for them. They can barely pass the midfield.
Yeah, it's a tough ask, but bearing in mind there is a best of 3 here, don't forget. So even if the worst happens for the UAE and they lose this game, they have 2 more to try and recover. As the ball gets dispossessed in midfield, is Pedri. Pedri to De Jong. De Jong to Depay. Depay over to Ansu Fati. Ansu Fati, nice dummy.
Not losing his patience.
Done very well there. Ansu Fati pulls the strike.
Nice one.
Pulls the trigger.
Nice one. I like when they go out of the script, because the script here says crossing. It may be an air crossing. It may be a crossing to
you have to have
the middle.
You have to have multiple plans in this game. You can go aerial. You can go on the ground. It's just your choice of almost picking your poison as the ball goes into the box, and ter Stegen will take that clear. It's a long throw downfield looking for Memphis Depay. Here's Lewandowski. And ball is given away once more. Spain again on the attack here. And as we close in on the first half of this first game, again, it appears to be Spain in almost complete control. Here's Memphis
so he's
Depay.
looking for the second goal.
He may just be. Double touches inbound. And Kesse just about gets free and gets the ball clear, and that will be half time with the last opportunity there. It is half time, so 1-0 to Spain.
1-0 is not much.
I think if you're looking at it from Jose's perspective, or if you're looking from Spain's perspective, they'll be pretty happy with that. They've taken the lead, they've imposed their will, they've imposed their game plan, and as we said before, you can always take players out of their game plan with playing your game plan better than they can. And if you can kind of lure them into playing a game style that you're happy with, then you've already kind of almost won.
I think
it's going to be for the UAE to kind of break out of that cycle and try and do something different here.
The score doesn't show what we've seen on the first half. We've seen total domination from Jose, but he's just one goal ahead.
He is, yeah. And here's Robert Lewandowski. It's Christensen that clears that one away. Is Frankie de Jong in towards Robert Lewandowski. Busquets wins it back, and here's Ansu Fati, though.
He keeps fighting for this goal. He wants the second one.
He does, certainly, as Ansu Fati dribbles in, but Frank Kessie's there to meet him once more. So, again, you can see that using Lewandowski as a bit of a point man there, as we said before, you're going to have to impose and get a little bit of an opportunity. But you can see from UAE's gameplay, because they haven't had a lot of the ball, I believe it was 70% we saw flash up in the left-hand corner. It's almost a rush. Once you have the ball, they're rushing. But you can see here Depay tries to make the pass, but
that was very important, that cross.
It's that panic that's almost set in. It's the well, if I haven't got the ball, I need to do something with it the minute I get it. Instead of controlling the ball, calm down a little bit and just collect yourself.
But I think that the cause of that may be that the UAE player knows that there is a level gap between them.
Potentially, yes. And again, if you are used to dominating your opponent, if you're used to being aggressive, if you're used to having a lot of the ball, once that ball is taken away from you, it's pretty hard to take. I mean, as you see Dembele.
And also, how important it is to find a level of an opponent with your level. Because, you know, when we saw that match from the UAE with the 20 goals, we never thought that that player may be so much playing the defense as in this case.
Yeah, he's certainly having to keep the walls from the door. There are certainly men in the box that are looking to profit for Spain as the ball gets tipped out. It's back to Frankie de Jong. He dummies. Kessie takes him down. Nothing given by the referee. And it is cleared away by Memphis Depay. But you can see here, bottom of your screen, there's white shirts that are starting to fly forward. Here's Memphis Depay. But equally, with those white shirts flying forward, there is also blue and red shirts that are flying backwards too.
And you know, the thing that it's only 1-0, it thinks that he cannot relax because perhaps in just one ball, his advantage may be over.
Indeed, as you can see, a little bit of an opportunity there. As you can see, Pedri. You see Ansu Fati, double touch round the edge of the box. He makes that opportunity and it gets closed very quickly. Is Kessie. It's cleared away by Busquets. Dembele. It's just, again, just the more that ball is surrendered by the UAE, the more Spain have opportunity to press. But with that pressing, they need to be careful. Please don't forget as well, if there is an equaliser here, if it does go to a draw, then this will go straight to a penalty shootout for game one. But again, at the moment, it looks to be all Spain. It looks like it's almost... Yes, but Jose knows what job needs to be done, and it's just getting on with it.
Yes, but do you know what? When you have just one goal in advantage, you are really in danger because it needs just 3 touches to get an equalizer.
Well, there's 1 touch, there's 2 touch, there's 3 touch. You may have just called it into fruition. Memphis Depay, corner ball.
See?
I'm going to have a chat with you about trying to predict the future. This is getting too eerie for me. But as you can see, changes now starting to kind of come in a little bit. Left-hand side of your screen, you'll see UAE. Right-hand side, you will see the changes from Spain. You can see it's, as you've mentioned, so quick that these changes are made that you kind of have to take stock of them. So you can see here, as I'm trying to just wait for passages to show here, you've got Rafinha, who has came onto the field. Gavi has come onto the field. And Ferran Torres has come onto the field for Spain. Whereas on the opposite side, Gavi and Rafinha are the only guys who have came on. But interestingly, you look at the stamina gauge on the left-hand side for the UAE. Midfield is starting to get a little bit tired. Gavi's now come on. As you can see, Pedri's stamina's drained. But Memphis Depay and Lewandowski still have over 3 quarters.
But you know what? When you watch the clock, the match clock, if you are Spain, you say, okay, it's almost finished. I had a lot of control. I'm okay. If you are the UAE player, you say, I still have time. It's just 1 goal that I need to go to the penalties. And this may once again change everything. So this match is far away from being closed.
It is indeed. It's delicately poised. And as we see Frankie de Jong lining up the corner for the UAE, as we said, around about 60 to 70 minutes is that kind of magical period where changes will make the change. And Naki Pena in goal for Spain, or for the Spain and for their version of Barcelona. So interestingly, they went away from Marc-Andre ter Stegen in their goal. Again, interesting choices of lineups here. But again, as we say, uniform stats. These players will be looking at a granular level as to how many differences they can make, as Gavi looks to just stretch the play down the right-hand side. It's back towards Sergio Busquets. Gets dispossessed by Lewandowski. Here is Memphis Depay, and here's Gavi. Neat little pirouette in the middle. Here's Lewandowski once more. To Gavi. To Lewandowski. And it's nudged away by Gavi. And as you can see, bottom of your screens as well, polar opposites in terms of their attacking biases right now. You can see that UAE are trying to push the issue. You can see that Spain are happy to play a little bit more defensively, which kind of lends itself to almost when you referenced it about 1-0 being the perfect scoreline, this would be it. It would be you've scored, you've taken control of the game, but it can go away from you at any time. It is
too dangerous.
It is. We always say that the second goal within eFootball is always vital. That's if they're required, because of course you can game manage it. I would, knowing Spain as I kind of do, you would expect there to be some type of game management here, or it might just be a case that they just go, we'll just keep playing because we're in control.
Yes, and he can also be waiting for a counter-attack,
He could certainly. Because here's Depay, Lewandowski, in towards Gavi. Gavi back to Lewandowski. That's that one type of opportunity you were talking about.
He's walking a tight rope.
He is indeed. It's delicate. It's finely poised here. As you can see, another corner for
I think this
UAE.
ball, it's key for the match.
It is indeed. There's only 6 minutes left. You see flashed up in your left-hand side of your screen. Spain with 64% possession. The UAE with 36. So you can see who has had the lion's share of possession, who's had control.
That foul was a beginner foul.
Yeah, it's a silly foul to give away, especially. I mean, you see them in real football all the time.
Yes.
You see, silly fouls that are given away in places where players are not in danger, or players are not going to, do anything, silly.
No, and you're attacking, you're near, you're knocking on the door, and then you do this foul, and you know what? Now you lend the ball to your opponent, everything resets, the clock will be harder to climb once again.
Absolutely.
So let's see what happened here. We are at game 1, and for now it's winning for Spain.
Yeah, you can see right-hand side of your screen, man marking being employed. So
yes.
Trying to negate what is happening here. As you can see the changes for the UAE on the left-hand side of your screen. It's gone to more of a 4-2-4. As you'll know as well as I do from football games in the past, it's a very nice formation to play. It's a very attacking formation, though, which shows the intent. But is it too little too late? As we see, UAE have now gone to all-out attack, meaning that defenders will be going forward as well. So you can see that they're just trying to create a little bit chaos, and that sometimes is all you need.
Whoa!
Speaking of chaos, mistake. Lewandowski across to Depay, and that's what we talk about with absolute chaos. One mistake in one goal, all you are required, and now all of a sudden, this takes a completely different complexion.
There's also a saying, los goles que no haces en tu arco, los goles que no haces en el arco contrario, los verás en el tuyo. The goals you don't make on your rival goal, you're gonna see them on yours.
Absolutely.
And this is exactly what happened. Jose had great possession, great opportunities, but he didn't close the match. And now he will suffer in the penalty kicks, or he will try once more.
He might just, or there may just be one more chance for the UAE as the ball looks to go through. Sergio Busquets is dispossessed by Memphis Depay. Here's Robert Lewandowski to Rafinha, to Gavi, to Rafinha. Rafinha looking forward, and it's just gone away, and it's Rayed. We'll take it forward to Pedri. Not long left on the clock here, and we're looking at injury time of 2 minutes added time.
That's nothing.
That's nothing. It's probably one opportunity in the world of eFootball. This chance may just fall to Spain, but it's cleared away. Will he get it over halfway? And he will, as UAE look to counter-attack. This could be the last opportunity of the game, and the pass goes a little bit wayward. And now we're on to penalty kicks.
Will be
enacted, I believe, for what we can see today, as of course you can see on your screens, both players do have obviously coaches that are with them. They're able to obviously talk to them kind of during ends of games, so you'll be able to hear kind of or see that people are there to be able to try and give advice, but it's very hard advice to give, especially when you're in penalty shootouts.
Spain shooting in the white shirts.
No, it's the UAE shooting in the white shirts, and it's 1 goal for UAE. So UAE take the standing start here, and they have taken a 1-goal lead. Here is Robert Lewandowski.
Now it's Spain, excuse me.
Now this is Spain against UAE, and it is another goal. So 1-1 as it stands, finally poised. You can see, as for guys at home, if you're playing locally at home, you'll do the exact same thing that we would do, which is turning away from your opponent. Here's Rafinha, 2-1. You kind of, as you said before, you kind of like hide yourself behind the couch, and that's exactly what these guys are doing here, because they're making sure that there's no type of way that each player will know how each other is shooting. Here is Rafinha. Oh, it's hit the post. What a miss that is. And it's advantage the UAE.
Yeah, and I think that now perhaps Jose is thinking about all the opportunities he missed during the match.
Oh, it's just got past the hand of the goalkeeper, and that is 3-1 to the UAE.
That's a lot.
Well, it certainly could be even more here if Pedri can't find the back of the net here. Pedri steps up. He finds the back of the net. Brilliant penalty there. So again, we talk about opportunities, and it only needs one. It only needs one save or one miss. Here is Robert Lewandowski. Striker supreme. And he's missed. So this could be the avenue back into the penalty shootout that Spain desperately need.
He needs to make this one.
He needs to make this one to really...
He really makes this shoot special.
Here's Ferran Torres. Saved by the goalkeeper. And this is almost... well, this certainly is game point. This is game point for the UAE. Here's Gavi up against Inaki Peña.
If it's goal, it's
a save.
Whoa,
there we go.
Whoa.
Now again, to further complicate this, if Spain need to score this to take it to sudden death.
Yes, he needs this penalty. If he misses, UAE keeps the game. Yeah, if he makes it sudden death.
Gavi. Oh no! Well, it's a Freudian slip. I saw a hand go out and I thought he got held of it. He hadn't. And now we are in sudden death territory. It's Kese with his almost trademark looking run up here as he makes the shot, and he scores. So the UAE even had me confused there. I thought they made that save.
They have a little advantage.
It is, but again, pressure heaping on to Spain. Back and forth we go. Frenkie de Jong. De Jong scores. Now he's delicate. He's finely poised once more. I don't think either player will want to give it up here, but you've got a centre-back in Christensen. Hits it as hard as he can. It's a Fedita special, as I will call them.
No, I prefer to the middle.
To the middle.
A bomb to the middle, But
here is Sergio Busquets against Marc-Andre ter Stegen. Busquets lines up his strike, makes the goal there, and we've got a pretty lengthy penalty shootout here.
Yes, of course.
Again, each kick and each save and each miss just ratchets up that pressure ever so slightly. Here's Jules Koundé, again another centre-back. Centre-back makes the goal.
Makes the goal once again.
Fantastic penalties that we're seeing here. This is a penalty shootout a little bit for the ages. I mean, we may even have to call on the goalkeepers here. Here's Raid.
A lot of pressure, on Jose's shoulders.
A lot of pressure here. And it's just about kept out. And the UAE will take game one.
Well, if something this game wasn't, it's fair in terms of who played it best. But it doesn't matter if you play best football. It doesn't matter if you was the one having the possession most of the time. If you don't make your opportunities into goals, this may happen. We were saying this the whole match. Jose needs to close his match. Jose needs to hold his match. He didn't.
Yeah, well, we were talking about it. 1-0 it can be your best friend if you're playing game management, but it can be your worst enemy if you're trying to still try and play. And as we've said already, in terms of possession, it's great to have it, but ultimately you need to do something with it. There's again, as I've said, over the course of the last couple of days, it's positive possession. It's going and keeping damage on, and instead it was a little bit of substitution. It was a little bit of guesswork from the UAE to make it more aggressive, and it was just one mistake. That's all it can take within eFootball. And if anything, for you guys at home, as we see the highlights here, you can see here that the moral of this story, at least for game one, it isn't over until it's over. Until that final whistle goes,
that's it.
Anything is possible.
No, and you have to make your game plan. I mean, if you see the time passing by, and you don't make the goals, you know that you need something. Yeah,
you can just see you can see the chances that were kind of being presented. You can see as we see here, the dribbling in. That was a great opportunity there, but just couldn't quite find the right finish. And instead, it was around 70 minutes where it started to really open up. The substitutions came on. That was that three that, it only takes 3 passes to create a goal. And then, again, you just see it slowly seeping in. You could see that was chances or half chances that were getting in. It was good defending from Spain. And then the resistance broke. The resistance broke thanks to a mistake. It wasn't really too much of skill, but it was skill to read the players. We'll see here once more. Player goes to play it short, and it's a great read of a pass. It was reading what was going to happen on the screen. Again,
there's no need at that moment in the game to do that kind of defensive play.
Well, as we've said, if you talk about British style of play, we would kick it as far as you can. Find the little lady in the stand.
Of course.
Do as much as you can. Get the ball away as far away from your goal as humanly possible.
Of course. Because you know what? You had a game where you dominate the game the whole time, where you had the most of the situations, and you end on a penalty kick, which, as you said yesterday, is kind of a lottery, and the lottery is more the times that you lose it than the times that you win it.
Yeah, absolutely. And from what we've seen in real football, kind of transfers to virtual football, there are underdogs who will wait until the very last moment, and then will make an opportunity, will score. But the stats will read, as we'll no doubt be able to see some of them shortly. The stats will read, well, Spain had all the possession, so they should have won. It's like, well, yes, in reality, yes, the better gameplay came from Spain, but the ability to close out the game wasn't there in that instance. It was instead we were going to allow players to play. If you're going to allow players at this level to play, you're going to get caught at some point.
So we are going to game 2. This is play to the best of 3 plays. The first match was finally won by the UAE. Is it fair? I don't know. Whoa. So there's no a fairness indicator, a fairness component in football.
Yeah, you either get the victory or you don't. There isn't a, oh, it wasn't fair. It's a, well, I got across the line, I won a penalty shootout. That's us winning. So that's the dividing line. Fairness and kind of who should have won is always a matter of opinion. The result in the game is always the matter of fact.
That's true. So this is the analysis from Weza, a very well-known ex-player, actual caster, and analyst and podcaster. I like very much the podcast you do with the Midnight Kid.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
Shout out to the Midnight Kid.
Thank you very much. It's nice to have that kind of acknowledgement.
Yes, of course. And if you see the Midnight Kid, you should tell him that Banfield stats should go up. if he can
I'll put
do
a
something
word in
about
for you,
that.
Ferita. I'll put a word in.
Okay, so where are you from? Where are you looking at this stream from? We want to hear from you. You can tell us over the chat, in Twitch, in YouTube. We are reading between the matches what you guys say. Who are you rooting for? For me, I think that knowing a little bit about Jose, he has a very tough match in front of him. He needs to win this game. If not, his participation in this tournament will be over.
Yep.
So I think that he may have learned a lesson. He may have known that 1-0 is not a result that will fit you in a situation like this.
Yep.
He must go and win this second game very clearly in order to be able to have, or at least aspire for a place in the finals.
Yeah, I think it's just to reassert confidence. That's all it is. you know, again, having the kind of the knockout to Saudi Arabia yesterday via a penalty shootout, that's going to sting a bit.
Yes.
To lose your first game against the UAE via a penalty shootout is going to sting a bit.
Yes.
It's just to re-establish confidence. That's more so what Jose will require here. As we see we're
So
going
I think
into,
we're coming
game
for
2.
game 2. Is once again Barcelona against Barcelona.
Unless there has been a change. I saw one Barcelona kit. Do we see 2? Yes, we do. So we do. So it's more of the same. But again, as we said about this yesterday, players can change teams. So, you know, again, in terms of the teams that are competing, kid, just a quick go over of rules and how things are formed here. It's uniform stats and it's officially licensed clubs that we've seen in the game. So, for example, Manchester United, Bayern Munich, Inter Milan, AC Milan, AS Roma, Arsenal, all of those guys are able to be selected.
I think
here.
nobody used Arsenal, right?
No, there was one use of Arsenal, and it was Brazil versus the Netherlands. It was the final game.
That's it.
That was it. So, because we were talking, you very rightly pointed out how wasteful Gabriel Jesus was, as you did quite accurately. And you know, as much as Ferita will talk up my analysis skills, Ferita's been pretty on point with some of his play calls.
Thank you very much, my friend.
As we have seen over the course of this tournament, and I'm sure we will see plenty more calls that you'll get absolutely spot on as well.
I hope, and we will soon have you casting in Spanish.
Oh, well,
that will be my payback.
We'll negotiate on that.
Okay,
We'll negotiate on that.
Okay.
But as we can see, lineups coming into you, as you can see on your screen, I think it's going to be relatively the same lineups in the sense of I can't imagine, as you've said before, these players will have drilled and have scrimmaged and have played against people with these teams, and you have your own players that you'd like to use. There isn't a deviation. Once you get to an event like this, and I know from experience as well from previous and past events, I went to a previous event and changed my team at the last minute, even though they weren't a team I'd been playing with. So the difficulty is that if you turn up and you're not quite sure of yourself, you can get caught. Of course, these players will have known these teams inside and out.
So once again, the UAE with the white shirts, Jose with the dark shirts, Spain. And here it comes. Memphis Depay.
Depay, great shifting of the feet there. Ansu Fati finds the shot, and early goal.
Español. Ansu Fati.
That is the perfect tonic that is needed for Spain here. Take a very early lead.
A goal in the first 5 minutes. It makes him start with the right foot, but be careful because now it comes UAE.
It can indeed. It can always turn, but you can see from since that kickoff has came in, all of a sudden, ultra defensive or all-out defensive from Spain in the bottom left-hand side of your corner. They are mindful of the attack and they're mindful of their defensive duties here. As you can see, goes slightly one more up now, just takes almost the handbrake a little bit off the bus, but you can see. And there you can see the handbrake is fully off. So you can see what the kind of game plan is here. Is be mindful, as you said, first stage after you've conceded is often where you are you're most vulnerable. You've normally switched off. You're normally quite energized that you've scored. But Jose seems to be finding that almost championship mentality, that championship DNA that we talk about all so often for so many years and so many situations that he's been in. He's been able to pull himself out the fire on numerous occasions. Memphis Depay. It's Ansu Fati in towards Lewandowski, blocked off by a defender. It's Pedri. Pedri still with it. It's cleared away. So, again, we've seen more of this, though. We saw this in the first game. We saw an early goal, and then we saw a lot of Spanish pressure, and then we saw a UAE equaliser from a mistake. So, I think if you're Jose, we may be being slightly harsh. I think we may have even been slightly harsh thinking about it, is that it's one mistake that has cost him that opportunity to get into penalties. But if he can eradicate that mistake, if he can not replicate it, he'll go on and win this game. But of course, he has to keep the UAE at bay. Here's Kessie to Depay. He's cleared away once more. You can see that defensive wall has just built itself for Jose.
Yes, but he needs one more goal. He cannot repeat the same mistake again.
Yeah, he certainly needs a cushion, is what he requires here. Here's Pedri to Frankie de Jong. De Jong is in there to Dembele, back to Lewandowski. Dembele just slides to keep it in, but then he's dispossessed by Christensen.
That may be also an explanation. Perhaps he went defensive too soon.
That may have been the case. That may have been the case. It may have been the case that he tried to switch off or he tried to game manage. But because of so much pressure from the UAE, because they went all out attack and because they pushed players forward, it created that little bit of chaos. It created that extra man that a three-person backline had to take care of. And as you can see, a little bit of inroads here from the UAE. Here's Memphis Depay. It's cleared away once more. Here's Ansu Fati.
UAE is playing more aggressively. He knows that he may risk this game in order to close this at 2 games, and that's it.
Absolutely. I mean, again, if you can close it in 2, it's one less game of V-football. And again, we talk about conditions. We talk about changes in conditions. These guys are now playing in the air stage. They're all used to playing in the fire stage, which is, again, kind of like an enclosed kind of room. That instead, it's a little bit of almost a greenhouse, as it were, outside.
Yes, exactly.
It's a little bit different. It's a little bit of a change.
And the other one, it's a darker place with more people around. Here is just the 2 players, and that's it.
2 players, their coaches, and the referee, which again provides its own type of venue in as many words. Because again, if you go from a room where you've got people chanting and people cheering,
yes, it's completely different.
This is completely different. It's like playing in almost a library, as it were.
Whoa, this is a good opportunity.
It's a good opportunity here.
Free kick in front of the box.
But what can the UAE pull out here? It's the UAE into the wall. Depay wins the header, and it's cleared away again.
And here it comes. Jose tries for the second goal. Is Lewandowski. Dembele.
Still going.
Goes for the crossing.
Is he going to go for the cross? He's gone for the double touch instead. He's pulled it back. Good save from the goalkeeper.
Once again, this opportunity you cannot miss, because now you are without that advantage anymore.
Yeah, you can't. And again, you have to have some type of advantage. You have to have and you've got to make it pay. As Lewandowski, as the keeper move manually, of course. So again, something to keep your eye on at home. These players will look for opportunities to, again, marginal gains. If you can see a mistake from a player, you will look to capitalise on it. And again, Jose will look to try and do that. Here is Dembele looking across the way. It's Lewandowski.
And now we have a goal. Now we have the goal we've been asking all this time. He had patience. He built the play once, twice, 3 times from the right. And just before the final whistle of the first half, on minute 45, he makes this second goal. Now, this is the game plan he must adhere to.
Yeah, I mean, and you look at the control that has been exhibited there. 4 shots, 4 on target. It's 100% accuracy. Interestingly, though, the key stat is 2 goals now rather than 1. So, again, it's going to make it that little bit harder for the UAE. They've got some work to do here. If they can make it happen, they can get 1 back. We have seen before, we have seen almost collapses of players in terms of 1 goal goes in and then the domino effect happens. I can stand to think, though, that looking at Spain, looking at how they came into game 2, I mean, of course, if you looked at the coaches within the room, of course, on Spain's side, we have Alex Alguacil, who,
legend,
again, is an all-round legendary player, but again, also, crucially, Jose's teammate at club level. So you can imagine that they will know each other and they'll know how to keep players calm. They'll know how to go, yep, let's get you calm. I was speaking to people last night and they were saying to me, well, if Jose had got Alex next to him, keeps him calm, keeps him level. And to be fair, you would need calming down after the way that you lost that first game.
Yes, of course. And the way you lost yesterday.
Yeah, to go out on penalties to Saudi Arabia. Bear in mind as well, Saudi Arabia, very, very good, very, very good player that we are yet to see on the stream, but I am sure we will at some point. Very, very high quality player. But the way that they went out to Saudi Arabia, you'll be disappointed because it's penalties. Nobody wants to go to penalties. They want to finish it in regulation. That's what they want to do.
Also, not to justify the Spanish players today, but yesterday most of Spain was watching the World Cup game, which Spain lost against Morocco. So that game in Bali time went from 3 a.m. to 5 a.m.
Yeah,
so difficult rest for these guys.
It's a difficult adjustment. It really is, because again, we talk so much about adjustments that players make on the field. We often forget and I will try and make sure that we are reminded of this. It's the humans behind the controllers. And again, you talk about rest, you talk about acclimatization,
Yes.
you talk about sleep patterns. You know, I was speaking to Saudi
For me,
Arabia, and in terms of
rest is king in this kind of tournaments.
exactly, and to get your rest, to make sure that you are well rested, it's paramount to making sure that you're at your peak powers of physical performance. Here is Frankie de Jong.
Remember that what is very important in video games is concentration.
Yes, absolutely.
You surely need concentration. Perhaps in other kind of competitions or other kind of ventures, you can afford not to be 100% concentrated. But in this case, everything is concentration, is game analysis, is be able to have patterns, to
Yes.
have different scenarios at the same time and choose the best one. So if you cannot sleep well, if you were, it's not the case, of course, because none of these players did that. But if you go partying or wherever,
Yeah. Well, it's the
you
same as
cannot
any.
do.
It's the same as any athlete. You have to prepare to be prepared. You can't just show up on the day and just expect something to happen. But,
Yeah, but I mean-
don't expect that from either of these players. But looking at it, we do say, you know, it is paramount for them to get to that level. And I think maybe if you look at it from a gaming kind of parlance, it's almost Jose needed that shock in the first game to go, come on, wake up, like as if to be, you know, let's get ourselves into the game here. But UAE
That's another thing.
are still,
if
UAE
you play
are still
first,
here.
if you play first turn,
Yes.
perhaps you're sleepy.
Yeah. If you have to get up, you have to make sure that everything is right. And speaking of getting things right, we've got the game plans that are here, and game plans haven't really adjusted for both teams. We're still seeing a 3-5-2 at the back for Jose. We're still seeing 4 at the back for the UAE. And the UAE still, as we said, they're not out of the tie. If this game gets lost, it's not all over. It's we get a tiebreaker, and then becomes the kind of the mentality game of, can you perform under the realist pressure that you have, which is going to be potentially game 3, and you're the first games on stream. You're going to have to perform under some type of pressure, and it's great to see, as we talked about so much, the response from Jose,
Yes.
the ability to find the right game plan at the right time, find the right passes and find the right opportunities, and converting those chances.
That's true. So that's the WESA analysis. You are here with us live from Bali, wonderful Indonesia. We are at the second match of the best of 3 round between UAE and Spain. The first one went to UAE by penalty kicks. The second one is being won 2-0 by Spain. So if this match ends like this, we will have a wonderful third match.
Interestingly, keep your eye on the right-hand side of the screen. Same tactical switch that was made by the United Arab Emirates. They were going to 4-2-4, or at least they're a little bit more reserved now. Slightly more reserved. But if they can get one back, and then they can push the issues, you can see down at the bottom of your screen, opposites almost attracting here as one goes attacking, one goes defensive. If they can get one back here, it might just pose a question. But again, if Jose has kind of learnt from those, or at least from that one mistake, then he will tie up game 2. But we've still got 20 in-game minutes left. Here's Gavi. Gavi looking forward, and Lewandowski's on side. Oh, I thought he was on.
No.
I thought he was on to the naked eye, and that was very, very tight. That is a very tight call. It may be the paint on his shoes that may have just called him offside there. Here's Koundé with the free kick. Puts it forward to Marcos Alonso. There's Gavi back to Marcos Alonso, and it's just ran out of play for the Spaniard. Acknowledgement of the pass, but that won't make any difference here. Goal kick to the UAE. It's up towards Lewandowski. Sergio Busquets intercepts it. Ferran Torres. Koundé. Down the line it goes to Ferran Torres. He has players in the middle if he can find them. Or does he even want to find them? It's a double touch. Buys the foul. Very interesting. Very good piece of play there. Rather than try and put it into the box where it could give the possession back to the UAE, instead he baited the UAE into giving him a challenge, giving him a free.
So what will happen now? It's 2-0 for Spain. Can he make the third one and close the match? He will try. He will surely try. 75 virtual minutes.
Not got long left in the game as the ball goes out wide. It's Frankie de Jong. It's
Prepare play.
back and forth. It's a good save
Wow,
for the goalkeeper.
but I like that play.
Yeah, it completely caught out. Again, when you see that movement, players can lock the trajectory of their play. So, again, they can hold R2 or RT, depending on your console you're using or your button setup, and you'll be able to then lock it in place and then move your camera. So that way then it will make the opponent think, oh, well, he's going somewhere else. But actually, the game has still locked you in place. So look out for that in terms of movement of where we can see set pieces.
Very good tip from Wedza.
And here's Marcos Alonso to deliver the corner into the box. Ball's into there. It's cleared off the line. The ball's not cleared properly. And that will surely be the final statement from Spain in this game.
I was going to tell you how intelligent was to have a defender in the place where the goalkeeper cannot reach. A minute after that, that same player was the one who made the mistake and lose the ball. So it's nothing useful to have that player there if he loses the ball.
Yeah, it's fine margins. As we said before, in terms of charging up your clearances, it's better to play the press a clearance button. Pedro with a lovely turn there. Here's Memphis Depay. Depay looking to move into the box. Stunning strike, goes out for a corner. But it's okay having a player there, but you know what the right buttons to press when you're going to clear the ball. Rather than try and charge it up, you just press the clearance button and you kick it as far away as possible.
So for now, this game is going how Jose dreamed about it. 3-0 and with a total domination. For now, he will be thinking that he just got bad luck on the first one.
Well, it was one mistake. When you look back at it from a Spain point of view,
well,
this has all been Spain, as we see Rafinha looking to change that narrative. Rafinha, it's pulled wide. But
this match was all Spain.
Yeah,
completely.
it's been all of Spain. It's been all of Spain's control, and there hasn't been that error. There hasn't been that mistake. So that's the great bit here, is that a clean, potentially we're looking at a clean sheet as well.
Yes.
Again, that gives its own confidence to say, well, actually, I can defend the United Arab Emirates attack. I can defend what they've got for me. And again, if you have the ball, it sounds the most simple thing in the world. If you have the ball, your opponent doesn't. The opponent can't damage you if they don't have the ball.
That's true. That's a good analysis. Right now, it's the UAE trying to make something, trying to stay in the game. I think
time is not on their side, though.
All of us know that this is impossible. This match is going to end very soon. And we are heading to third match.
We're heading to a third match. It's 3 minutes of injury time, and it looks like it is still going to be a Spanish victory here, which in game 2 will set us up for a decider, which is something we all love to enjoy.
Right now, how much did that error cost Jose? How important was that error on the first match?
Well, if you think about it, if the error doesn't occur in the first match, the first game finishes 1-0, second game finishes 3-0.
And that's it.
And then he's through to the final of the bracket.
He may be by the pool right now.
Well, no, he wouldn't be, because then he'd have the winner of Japan versus Brazil.
True. That's true.
So the issue then becomes is, so in terms of that, the issue then becomes is now that we have game 3, what is there in the locker for both teams?
How do you play it? If I was Jose, I will play it exactly as this match.
Yeah, you've got
going and don't being so cagey.
It's overthinking is what it is. It's overthinking, and as we said on yesterday's, if you joined us for yesterday's broadcast, the narrative is you don't think, you just do, and for players like Jose, playing a game of eFootball can be almost automatic. If they can zone out in the correct way, as we say, you kind of forget where you are. If they can zone out and they can just go, right, I'm just playing against myself, or I'm playing against the system, then all of a sudden then it becomes such an easier game to go through.
So these are the highlights for the second match. It started right away the minute they came from the locking room.
Yeah, it was great footwork on both players there. Memphis Depay, little drag backs, little dummy touches. A great finish that was put into the back of the net. Again, double touch was in effect for a lot of players. And again, it just trickled through. You got that slice of luck, as we say about players. You know, you talk about mentality, you talk about skill. They always need that element of luck to go with it. And again, that little bit of luck was there.
And that was, for me, the best play in the match. The free kick with 3 touches. Now, the error by the defender, which put the final numbers to this game. Spain 3, UAE 0. Not even this one, the last goal with just good decoration.
Yeah, it looked like it was like kind of like the first shot in anger, as you see some of the stats from that game there. 114 passes to 139, which surprised me a lot in terms of the passes, but that normally suggests, as we say, the less passes you see, the more dribbles you'll see.
Yes,
but again, critically, you can see interceptions 23. You can see 8 shots. You can see possession of 56%. So you can see that Jose kind of enjoyed that game because it was a case of, I'm going to retain the ball.
He got 0 saves. That means that UAE doesn't kick to the goal in the whole match.
2 shots and none-run target. So again, I'm struggling to even remember the other UAE shot that we saw, apart from the one that went past the post. I'm struggling to kind of think about it. So again, that kind of tells you the level of the game that we just saw. And as you said, the only word for it was total domination from Spain. But now what are we going to see here potentially in game 3?
So here we are in wonderful Indonesia. We are at Bali. You cannot see it because we are too high, but behind us is the sea. It's the air stage, it's the beach, it's the pools, it's the main festival. Imagine the biggest music festival you've been in your life. Well, this is the kind of setting that we have here.
It's literally, it does have that kind of almost festival feel to it. And again, you know, it's wonderful being here. I mean, you kind of almost struggle to figure out which bit's the sky and which bit's the sea at some points. It's crazy, but you know, again, the environment that we're in, I don't think any of the gamers that are here would have expected to be in such a location.
No,
but it's such a different location for some players to get used to. That's what we're talking about when we talk about climate. You know, for example, me for the UK, I took off, you know, a couple of days ago, and it was 5 degrees. I've now landed here, and it's like 29 degrees. So it's like it's completely different for me. I can only imagine what it's like for some of these players.
Well, but we are here enjoying. We are here waiting to know which players are going to the finals, which players may be able to claim that prize, that $25,000 prize pool that will be split among just 3 of these players. We have on the final round already confirmed Argentina, we have Serbia, we have Mexico, we have...
I'll help you out here. You've got Iraq, you've got Turkey.
You've got Saudi Arabia.
You've got Saudi Arabia, and then in terms of what we've got left, we've got one more from today.
Let's see. Who will that be? Will it be the player from Japan? Will it be the player from Brazil? Will it be the player from Spain? Will it be the player from the United Arab Emirates? Well, you will find out very soon in just some minutes. But what you must be assured is that we have the best players in the planet. And here we come for game number 3. This is where everything will settle. Just one of these 2 players may be going around. The other one is just saying goodbye.
This one is for all the marbles. This is for everything. So this will mean, you know, in a very much a do or die situation, you are in, win or you're out. And again, I stress it in terms of the way that we have seen these 2 players play. If the UAE can replicate their gameplay from game 1, if they can force an error from Jose, they can find themselves potentially in real position to get through. However, in game 2, we saw if Jose can bring his very best gameplay, then Spain will win game 3. It's so tight to call, and it's such an intriguing...
I think that for this match, what Jose is looking for is to be able on the first half to make at least 2 goals. That would be the best scenario for him.
Yep.
The UAE player, I think that if he can end the first half with a tie, that would be also acceptable. That's just speculation on my side.
I think the longer it goes in the game where it's 0-0, the longer it benefits the UAE.
That's it.
If Spain go ahead and score, then that obviously, as we've seen from the last game, that provides its own task. But however, if UAE were to take the lead, that's a very different scenario because we haven't seen that today. Every game that we have seen is Spain take the lead. So it provides its own bit of intrigue. It provides its own bit of kind of mystery, as it were, to see exactly how this is going to pan out. And of course, we're going to here to call all the action for you. So please, you don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to listen to anybody else. You only have to listen to what you can hear here as we kick the game off here. It is the UAE from left to right. It is Spain from right to left. So it is the UAE in white, and it is
I like
Spain
that they
in blue,
they
red
never
and blue.
change shirts over the.
It's so much better for us because it means that we don't have to worry too much about where we are. As Robert Lewandowski played inbound, and it's nearly there. Good defensive play from Spain. It'll be Ousmane Dembele. Dembele looking down the right-hand side here. Robert Lewandowski.
It looks like the white players are more. I don't know why.
Yeah, it feels like there's just multiple. There's so many more. It's such a wave of players that move, but it's such is the tactics of these games. If you're playing long ball counter, both teams will move in waves, both in defence and in offence. So you'll notice this. You'll see a blue and red wave move forward as Spain look to bring on the attack, but Kounde will take it clear. And you just look at your screen. If you look at any of the players here, you'll see all of them running back here to try and defend the ball.
Yeah, they are returning.
Absolutely, they are. Here's Ousmane Dembele, though, who finds Frankie de Jong. Gap is found, and goal is found.
For the UAE.
Now then.
So, all the predictions, you can just break them, throw them away. A new game has started. Don't have anything for granted, you know.
That is big, big pressure now.
An
early goal for UAE was against the form book.
Yes, exactly.
It was certainly against the form book because all we've seen was one goal that was taken by a mistake, but it had to be clinical in that first game. But that was just as clinical. Wonderful through ball to Frankie de Jong. Again, finding the space, finding the opportunity to shoot, and then more importantly, finding the finish that hits the back of the net.
So here we are in wonderful Indonesia. We're at Bali for the 14th International Esports Federation Championship.
The World Esports Championships is where all of the best players are coming to play. I believe we were on 72 nations within eFootball. I believe it was the largest category of nations.
Exactly.
And of course, we're focusing on 4 today. Japan and Brazil are coming up next. But before we get to them, it is the United Arab Emirates versus Spain. And currently, Spain are in a little bit of jeopardy. Here's De Jong into Depay. Beautiful double touch to take it away. Ansu Fati gets the control strike. Brilliant save from the goalkeeper. It is a corner. So Spain looking to find those inroads.
That was good because it wasn't being expected. All of us expected a crossing. He went for the shot. And now he has a corner kick. He needs this goal to be able to get back into the match.
He certainly needs it. It's Araujo. Araujo scores. And that is the equaliser that Spain needed. When you need a goal, you go back to Old Faithful. We have seen those types of corners in competitive play time and time again. It is a driven corner, and you select a player to make sure that they are there in the spot. It allows you no time to defend it, and it allows the keeper no time to try and save it.
So here everything starts again. 21 minutes, 1-1.
And there's a response, could potentially be back straight away. He's cleared away again by
This
Spain.
match is the definitive match.
It is indeed.
Who wins this match advances to the next round.
Win and you go through to the finals eliminator. Go win it, lose and you're off home.
That's it.
So again, that's how much it means to these players. You can see, as you can probably imagine, the gamer lean, as you can see in both corners of your screen, both players intently looking at each screen in that very traditional sit forward type of mentality. They are not resting on any laurels. The focus is at 110%. As Sergio Busquets intercepts the ball for Spain. We'll look to bring that clear. Finds Pedri.
He lets the clock run. I don't think that's what he needs to do. He needs to try for one more goal. But of course, he measures each action. You know,
Absolutely.
Each time you have less margin, less control margin.
Yeah, exactly. You have less margin for error. The more you think about how you're going to construct, you can see shapes moving there in that kind of triangle passing we were talking about. Brilliant challenge from Kounde. Kessie will take it clear. There's Dembele to Rafinha. Rafinha has been pressured there, and Ansu Fati wins the ball back. Ansu Fati looking forward, finds Lewandowski, gets it away to Dembele. Dembele, what can the Frenchman do here? He's up against Marcos Alonso.
Not much.
And as we talk about physicality being massive in terms of uniform stats, Dembele against Marcos Alonso, as much as we would say in a foot race, Dembele would completely get past him. Physicality is key within eFootball. So, again, it's always something to keep your eye on. Here's Frankie de Jong looking forward to Ansu Fati. Ansu Fati looking to dummy inside to the box. Going to look to double touch. Again, the UAE have seen this story before. They have seen double touches from the edge of the box. They know exactly which way they go.
Nice back heel.
A nice back heel that takes defender out of the game momentarily. Rafinha plays a poor pass, though, and Araujo will take that forward. Here's Ansu Fati.
And now it seems like both are okay with this result for now.
For now, maybe, but there's a double touch that's been taken out of possession. Here's Lewandowski to Rafinha. There might be a slight counter-attack on. It's against Raid. Raid looking to track Rafinha. Rafinha looking to get that ball forward. Kesse will win the recovery. Pedri. Kesse. To Pedri. Rafinha. And it's, again, knocked away by Frankie de Jong. And we're just ticking through to half-time here with last chance potentially going to Spain. Here is Pedri. Last chance will be with Spain here. If they can make something a benefit, Frankie de Jong will say no and will shut the door. And there is half-time.
Half-time it is.
It's like a seesaw. It's so close to call here in terms of where this kind of, I want to use the word momentum, but where is this going to go? If the next goal, we use it as a sporting cliche and we've used it as a casting cliche, it's critical to survival here in this competition.
And you know, everything is in the mind in this case. If you were Jose, that yesterday you got knocked out in penalties, that today you lost the first match in penalties, would you go to penalties again if you can choose?
Well, if you could choose, you would want, I personally, because of, again, as we've said, in terms of how it is a lottery, you'd want to get it done in regulation. You want it done, you want it completed, you want it out the way. Because again, you know, this is a third match in a series. You then could have potentially, if you get through to the final of what we're going to see today, you've got a potential another 3 matches. So it's all about kind of measuring yourself. I personally wouldn't want to go to penalties again.
I will risk whatever it takes not to get to penalties.
Yeah.
I will take higher risk just not to go to penalties. But I prefer losing on the field than going to penalties, especially with this, you know, this backstory.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, you wouldn't want to. You wouldn't want to, and I dare say you wouldn't expect to go to penalties, as we see Spain looking to try and force the issue once more. Pedri will just close that door, and you can see bottom right-hand side of your screen, the UAE have changed their attacking bias to 1 down on defensive. So you have defensive and then all-out defense. So defense just defensive will make them feel a little bit more solid at the back, which maybe lends itself to him thinking, well, if I can hit Jose on the break, as we see Ousmane Dembele try and make some inroads, but he might be thinking, well, if I can hit him on the break and get 1 goal, I can then really close down the game.
It also seems like another time when the UAE make the first goal in this match.
Yeah, it does so. But here's Memphis Depay. Here's Robert Lewandowski. Memphis Depay. Depay scores!
Now it goes.
Brilliant, intricate play there from Spain. Little pieces of, I know you've used the phrase so often, but there's a little bit of tiki-taka that's came through Spain there. Wonderful piece of play, but you can see.
And he was the one risking. He was the one expecting the last touch. He didn't throw the ball from wherever place. He wanted to have that perfect spot from where you know that the goal cannot reach, the defender cannot reach, and now he's 1 goal ahead.
Absolutely, but as you can see, UAE coming back down the track, looking to try and cause an error, and there was a goal kick that got deflected. That could have gone anywhere, but Kesse's recovered it for the UAE. That's a bit cynical, but as we said before, you do sometimes need to take a card when the decision, when the time calls for it. Kind of a bit of an intelligent foul. Not necessarily something pretty that you would see at home, but as you can see on your screens here, Spain all-out defense, which basically means everybody stay back. You can see on the bottom of your screen in the radar, not even the forwards are anywhere close to the halfway line. Everybody's gone back.
With that foul, what you know is that for sure everybody returns to their points.
Exactly. So it kind of gives you a little bit of a team reset. We were 60 minutes gone here. Changes may just start to creep in, as we can see on your screens here. I think we can always predict what the UAE change is going to be. It's going to go to 4-2-4 potentially. Substitutes are going to come on, but you'll see here, interesting, right-hand side of your screen, man marking being called for by Spain. So they're looking to stop the wide men, or stop the danger, as it were, that they can perceive from the UAE. And as you can see, those tiny changes, it's pixels on the screen, if that, in terms of the changes. They're so minute and they're so decisive, can be at times. You know, they can make such a difference, those changes. And as you can see, tactically, you can see that every thought is being taken here. And on the UAE side, you can see that 4-2-4 has came into effect. You can see that Memphis Depay is forward and on. You can see that Gavi has came on for Pedri. So we'll see if any of those changes will make a difference to the UAE. Will they go all out attack? When do they do that? What time is the best time to do it? I'd probably say within the last 10 minutes is probably a good idea, because, again, you don't want to throw a defender forward too quickly, because, again, if you've got 90 minutes and it goes to penalty kicks, at least you'll give yourself a bit of a run at it. If you leave yourself 10 in-game minutes, you can take a run at trying to push the issue. Or, again, for all we know, there could be a mistake that happens, and that could cause the chaos that the UAE need. Here's Memphis Depay. Kesse intercepts it. Kesse plays it forward. Looks to Memphis Depay. Finds Robert Lewandowski. Lewandowski rolls it forward. Finds Rafinha, who is just offside.
He had great expectations for that play, because if he went by, that could be an equalizer.
It could have been trouble. Most definitely, indeed, it could have been a lot of trouble. Instead, though, it is a Spain free kick where they look to just clear it down the line. Just clear their lines just a little bit. But you can see the differences in attack at the moment. You can see that players are pushed forward, and instead Spain are almost coiled like a spring here, waiting for their moment to try and potentially solidify this game and to take away game 3 from the UAE. But Araujo will clear it away, but it's a bad clearance, and in truth it's Rafinha who will take the throw for Spain. Here's De Jong to Rafinha. Neat double touch. Takes it round. Brilliant piece of footwork there from the Brazilian. Rafinha.
Nice one.
Double touch. Well, I say double touch. It was more of a super canceller dummy. Here's also Dembele. There's the double touch. There's the strike from the Frenchman.
Excellent.
It's just
excellent.
Tipped round the post. Again, it's exactly what this type of situation calls for. It calls for cool heads. It calls for calmness. And it calls for skill within this environment. If you can just execute a little bit more, if you're Jose from Spain, you execute one more goal, as you see Lewandowski trying to win the head. It's bounced out to Frenkie de Jong. It's fallen kindly. Oh, it's a stunning strike that's hit the post.
Yeah.
What an attempt that was on goal for the Dutchman. Spain trying just to get that last goal, just to push them over the edge. But again, we talk about game situations. The longer this stays at 2-1, the more benefit it is for the UAE. And
yes,
I know that sounds strange if you are viewing this and you're saying, well, you know, where's you're saying that, but Spain are winning. Exactly. If you are still within this game, it only takes one goal, as we saw in game 1.
Yeah, and minds play a big role here. So UAE knows that if by any chance he gets the equalizer, things will start happening, questions will be asked. So Jose, for him, it's like if he was not winning yet. He needs at least one more goal to be able to close the game without any rush.
Yeah, absolutely. But at the moment, he doesn't look in any rush to go and get that goal. It's a cross-field ball over to Rafinha. A bit of a give and go with Memphis Depay. Frenkie de Jong rides the challenge from Kesse. Takes the dummy past Gavi. Looks to just, again, it's just, if you think about this, these movements here are quite deliberate in one sense, because the longer this ball stays within the pitch, the quicker that clock in the left-hand side ticks down. So all of these movements where it's like driving at the defense, but it doesn't really look like Jose's going anywhere, it's a smart ploy. As Rafinha double touches, and now the ball goes out. Again, you can see, and now at the bottom of your screen, last 10 minutes, UAE have now gone all-out attack, which means additional players going forward, which means one of their centre-backs, either Arujo or Christensen, whichever one it chooses at that point, will be the player that joins the attack, which means that they will have 5 attackers, not 4. And against their 3 back,
he's just 1 goal away of the penalty.
Yes, and that's it. The only way to survive and carry on here, if you were the United Arab Emirates, is if you get a goal. So sitting here and losing 2-1 will make no difference. You will still be going home. So you have to create a chance. You have to score. Of course, looking at this here now, though, defensively, you can see bunches together by Spain. You can see they've left Lewandowski almost alone in the forest, as it were, while they go and pack up. And even Lewandowski's being pulled back here. So you can see the mentality on what this will mean if they can get this over the line.
So here we are in wonderful Bali with Weza, bringing you the first match, the third match, in fact, of these best of 3 matches between the UAE and Spain.
Yeah, looking at it here, it's 10 in-game minutes left, plus a little bit of stoppage time. You can see
Let's see what
Rafinha,
happened in this
Lewandowski,
one.
Extra man is forward, great challenge, but Depay wins it back. Ansu Fati cleared away.
That was an important clearing.
Very important clearance, very important challenge as well.
But still time.
Still time on the clock, and you can see mentalities have switched in terms of all-out defense and all-out attack. Of course, though, if you're smart enough with your defense and your defensive line, you can catch people offside, and that's exactly what's happened there. And again, it surrenders the ball to Spain.
Yeah, and this was important, you know. This will bring a little bit of calm to Spain. It's 85 virtual minutes going. He must not lose this ball. Oh, I can't believe this. I can't believe this, my friends. He's gonna suffer once again. Last minutes. UAE all in for the attack.
Potential suffering on the cards. It could be for either team here. It could either be a misery compiler for Spain, but they're thinking anywhere will do. So long as the ball is still in play, that clock is ticking.
I don't like this strategy.
You may not like it, but it is sorely effective. But you're also inviting pressure onto you by your opponent. So every time this ball clears, it's going to keep coming back for the UAE.
You know, it's like a squash wall. You just, as hard as you hit it, that hard it's coming back.
This is more like a game of paddle. This is more like a game of paddle. But as you can see, 4 minutes added on here. Spain, again, anywhere will do. They are in the ascendancy, but the clock is still ticking. So the clock is still ticking here. 2 minutes left. You can see, again, Spain just looking to clear.
Too risky for me.
And that's
playing
going
back
to the keeper. No.
To the back,
We're okay. We're okay by the look of things if you're Spain. And the ball is going to get cleared. And that looks like it's going to be the last action of the game. And there is the final whistle. Spain see themselves through.
Look at Jose's face.
How much energy that has taken out of him in terms of the focus.
He suffered, my friend. I think it's a fair win by Jose. But look at him. He is dreadful. You know, he's tired.
He's drained.
He's really drained.
But the additional issue you've got is the energy level that has to go back up, because you come down from that adrenaline rush of going, I was just in a really hard game with the UAE. He's now staring at a chance of playing against Japan or Brazil. So as much as you come down from that adrenaline rush, you're going to maybe relax for a little bit. You maybe go and get a drink, maybe just relax yourself. But then you've got to get yourself back up there.
Yes.
So it's all about levels here, but a fantastic performance. And again, we talked about kind of game management. We saw it in Game 3 because Jose knew. He knew how much that was required.
And, you know, let's see the highlights, because he really had to build this winning. It was not easy at all.
No, it wasn't.
Don't let the marker lie to you. The first goal came.
First goal was UAE's, and that's what shocked us both. Oof. It was, you saw that goal go in, and you were saying, well, what's going to happen here, and how will Spain respond to being 1 goal down? Because that was a situation we haven't seen. But again, that mental fortitude, that championship mentality, that championship DNA that Jose has in that locker. You've said so many times before, he's been in so many different scenarios, he's been in so many different competitions. Brilliant awareness to find that triangle, 1-2, just managed to just find the back of the net. And all of a sudden, it then became a kind of, as you say, a bit more of a gritty game. It's a good save for the goalkeeper there. And it became all Spain in terms of how to control the game. Again, if you're watching at home and you're looking for an expert way of how to kind of close out a game, Jose showed you in both Game 2 and in Game 3 that there's a couple of different ways you can go about it. Yes, there is the ugly, as you would call it, in terms of just kicking it anywhere. But, of course, you look at the stats here. Again, 106 passes. Again, lends itself to saying that there was more dribbles from the Spanish side. Interestingly, on UAE side, only 1 goal, but only 1 shot. So that was all that was required.
And the 21 interceptions, I think, is what explains why Jose was able to win.
Yeah, it's to coin the phrase, it's pass the ball and keep the ball.
Yes.
You have to look after that ball. As I said yesterday, it was like a long lost friend, but then you asked me whether I kicked my friends or not. But the analogy is there is that you want to take it with you everywhere. You want to go everywhere with it. You want to keep hold of it, and you want to let people know that it's still there. That ball is so vital when it comes to eFootball.
So here we are. The first match was finally won by Spain. This was like, I think it may be the logical result. People, I think, were more inclined, if you see who's going to win, 8 out of 10 would say Spain.
Yeah, I think the form book was there. The form book suggested that it was Spain. The form book suggested that they were unlucky, of course, to get knocked out yesterday, or into this bracket. And I think for the UAE, again, let's not take anything away from their performance during this tournament. They're one of the highest goal scorers in this competition, or have been in this competition. When we saw the graphics before in the previous couple of days of top scorers, they were within that mix. So, again, full credit to them in terms of their gameplay. They've certainly showed their level at this competition. But, again, if you were looking at it from an experience point of view, from a statistical point of view, it kind of pointed to Jose. But in terms of that, I was surprised in terms of their level of being able to create chances. They created their own chances in Game 3. They took advantage of a mistake in Game 1. So there's something there to build on if you are the United Arab Emirates.
So can we watch what happened?
Well, I'm just waiting to hear in our ear because I believe we may, at some point. Hold on, just wait 1 second. I think we're able to hear potentially from our winner. I believe.
I hope. I'm seeing Brenda Juan going there. This keeps getting better and better and better, and the team keeps growing. So I was talking with Brenda before the game.
Yep.
And she said, I would like to speak with the players because she has been doing it all these days.
Yep.
So this broadcast keeps getting better and better and better. And this is the first match we will see again Jose at the end of the day.
Yes.
For sure.
Yes, we're going to see Jose at least, but we will find out who he will be facing later on.
Will he be facing Japan?
Or Brazil, which would be either one. Again, at this stage, it's a shark pool. So
it's very difficult.
Anything is possible.
It's just one of these guys who's going to be able to go to the finals.
Yeah, and that's it. You look at all of these teams and how they're performing, it's only one. So again, at knockout stages of gameplay, whether it be a loser's bracket, whether it be the main finals, anything of knockout environment, both in real football and virtual football, anything can happen.
So who do you think is going to win? I don't know. I hope a good player may be able to take home the prize. So I think it's already there, our friend Brenda Kwon. Go ahead, Brenda.
Once again, give it up to Spain! And thank you so much, our amazing caster. So, how do you feel to be a winner when you battle against the UAE?
Well, I'm happy because the objective was the win here. I'm a bit angry because I didn't show my best gameplay the first game. I lost in penalties because my fault. But mentally I was strong. I achieved the comeback, and let's see now against Japan and Brazil to get the last spot for the grand finals.
I see. So no worries because you are now be a winner, right? Don't think about the first match, okay? So do you have any message that you want to deliver to your supporter?
Well, thank you for watch. I need your support because it's really important. I need the warmth of Spanish people and also Indonesian. I have here supporters. So let's see on the final loser bracket.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I'm also your supporter, okay? Do the best, okay? So thank you so much. You can go back to your place and have a break first because we are going to see the next match, but we are going to have a break for a while. So don't go anywhere. Stay with us in IESF 14 World Esports Championship Bali 2022. We'll be right back.